employment, peace and security, inclusivity, justice, meritocracy. Now the Niger promises.
But without our own discipline, duty of care and tolerance, respect and true leadership, transparency we all need, environmental awareness, resilience in no go walk.
Seven promises, them don't talk am. Seven codes, now we go do our move. No they wait, no they look face. Join body, make we run the race. Now you and me, now you and me, now you and me, go fix our Niger. Leave bribery, wash your hands. Come out from mago ways. Talk true when you see security concern now all of us.
No they complain about Niger, complaining no they change our mode. If you be true Nigerian, if you be Ogbonge Naija, if we want better tomorrow, now we go make them work today.
Seven promises, them don't talk am. Seven codes, now we go do our move. No they wait, no they look face. Join body, make we run the race. Now you and me, now you and me, now you and me, go fix our Niger. Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, and Rivers. Oh, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, and Rivers. Oh, seven promises, them don't talk am. Seven codes, now we go do our move. No they wait, no they look face. Join body, make we run the race. Now you and me, now you and me, now you and me, go fix our Niger.
If we be true Nigerians, we go rise hand in hand, uphold the 7 for 7 agenda for Niger, our hope, our pride, and our strength.
Powered by National Orientation Agency.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts with every
It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and we welcome you to VOP this morning. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I am Chukuma Okoro. On the show today, we have lined up very interesting topics, for your listening pleasure. We'll go to the Southeast, where IPOB held pro-Trump rally in the states, 3 states, calling for Nnamdi Kanu'S release. And again, Inter-Society accuses New York Times of falsifying Christian genocide report. White group accuses soldiers of blocking access to community amid Kaduna kidnap saga. Now, these are the major topics of discussion. And in the next 2 hours, we are going to interrogate the issues, the challenges, the prospects in those stories. But we also have other interesting trending stories. And I'm not alone in the studio. I have my beautiful people here with me. Moses Humphrey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Jen Agoye, good morning.
Good morning.
I've practically introduced you people.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And it feels good to be alive. Feels good to be here. Another beautiful Wednesday morning. Well, there are other conversations that Nigerians are having. One of them is on sound pollution. Yes, and I put it mildly. But this is exactly what's happened. Now, a video from Ibeku, Umuahia, Abia State, surfaced online yesterday, and it featured a man barging into a church wielding a machete. And this happened while the church was having a vigil. Now, this clip captures the man gesturing aggressively as worshippers fled, and equipment was knocked over. Well, thankfully, no one sustained any injury. Now, the incident has sparked debate online, with some sympathizing with the man due to repeated complaints about loud prayers disrupting his sleep, while others urged authorities to handle such matters legally. Now, the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRIA, regulations limit noise to about 85 decibels. It depends on where, all right? So, but calls for enforcement, soundproofing, or scheduling restrictions have been made to prevent similar confrontations. Well, according to NESRIA, there's the limitation of what is allowed differs from place to place. For churches, I think it's not even 85. It's around 75 decibels. That's the limit. And if you want to understand it, because I tried to get a better understanding of the decibels, 30 decibels for certain places. Now, 30 decibels basically is, the soft whisper you would have in a library. And then, that basically, and then 40 decibels can be compared to the sound from your refrigerator when it hums. And the conversation we are having now should be around 50 or 60 decibels. Yeah, about that, which is, and then when it goes, so that tells you that if this is around 60 decibels, what you can hear outside, then 75 shouldn't disturb anybody's sleep. But what we have is religious organizations turning their speakers out there. I mean, even if you want to mount speakers, put it facing inwards, because you're preaching to the people inside, isn't it? So let your speakers face inwards. I had a problem in a place I lived, and it was a small church somewhere on the street, and the speakers, 2 massive speakers, faced outside, basically facing my compound, and my apartment was just in front. The first apartment you would get to, and this thing would disturb my sleep. And sometimes I come back from work late, and then at the time I'm getting in to sleep at about 11 p.m., that's when they're starting vigil. And it goes on. They don't even say, okay, let's just pray till about 2 a.m. and stop. It goes on till 5 a.m. And I'm on my bed. I had to walk up to the convener, the pastor. I told him, look, this thing is disturbing me. Can you do something about it? Face it inwards, or you face it the other way. So it goes into the street. And we're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then he did it. Turned it around, faced outwards, facing the street. That was just for that day. The very next day, he did the same thing again. And I went back again. I said, Baba, this thing is disturbing my sleep. Oh, sorry. He's a police officer. He did it. And then the third day again, I just gave up. I said, look, I called my landlord. I said, look, this man is, that's how he's been. He will always apologize, but he will do the same thing over and over again. So I just gave up until, in fact, it was one of the reasons I had to move out of that area, because the church was in front, and then there was a mosque on another street with their speaker facing the compound.
You were in big trouble.
Yes, I was in trouble.
Big trouble.
I was in trouble. But I understand that relevant agencies have had to shut down clubs, bars.
Yeah.
But how much, I think some religious organizations, but I doubt if it affects mosques, really. I doubt if anyone has been shut down. Well, I'm not privy to that.
I think the thing about mosques is that they don't do it persistently.
Yes.
They just do the morning cry and it ends there.
No, they do. They do the morning cry. They do the 1 a.m.
That's what I'm saying.
PM.
And the morning cry, it doesn't go beyond like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm right.
Yes.
They just do
it's
it
about-
and move on. Whenever they want to pray.
And then it was difficult to tell a lie if you're home. And anybody that calls you on the phone will know you're home.
Yeah.
Because they call you at that time.
Yeah, I think the problem is where they cite churches compared to where they cite mosques. Let's be very honest. You can't compare both. That's why we rarely have those issues with the other religion.
Okay.
But with Christianity, it's a common thing. And one mistake you did, next time when you want to move, find out if there's a church near the house, if there's a club, or if there's a mosque, because that's what people, check. Then what struck me with the story was when they said 83 decibels. And I was like, I was just hearing that for the first time. And I'm wondering, yes, we set out laws. You say you must not do this, but who even understands what 83 decibels is in layman's terms? And when I checked, they said it's the sound of a truck on a highway driving at 40 kilometers per hour. So I was just trying to signpost that with what is obtainable.
Or the noise from a marketplace.
A marketplace.
Yes.
And I was trying to signpost that with what is obtainable. But for me, aside the man's anger, what it just shows is how bad our society has gone. That people have to take laws into their hands or do the extreme before they can get justice or get things done. Because really, if these institutions that have been set up to, control all of these things are really doing the job that they are doing, people will not have to go the extreme.
Institutions. I think people need to report first off.
But you would need to if you have a very big church in your maybe locality, your street, your next door neighbor, I don't know if there are avenues for people to even report anonymously because you will be targeted.
No, there is.
Okay, and they don't expose the whistleblowers.
No, they don't.
Okay, so in that case,
The thing about it's about laws. Our people don't like obeying laws.
No, we don't.
That's the way we are. We don't like obeying laws until we are forced, to do that. But I'm happy that I have someone that can share my own experience with Moses, like what Moses passed through.
Yes.
I passed through it at some point in part of Lagos where I lived earlier. And, it got to a point because I was living with the landlady. And the landlady one night walked up to the church and said, and when she got there, she discovered that there were only 6 people inside that church.
You can imagine.
And my landlady asked the pastor, if only 6 of you can generate
this level of noise.
This level of noise. What will happen if you were like 10, 15, 20, 30, like in most churches? They went back and forth, and all of that. Very influential lawyer, I must say, my landlady is, at that point. So at the end of the day, she had her way. That church had to move from that street. They moved. But while growing up, as a fresh graduate, somewhere in Port Harcourt, there was, because it's not only about noise from churches and all of that, generators too.
Yes.
Where I was living, I had this big man, whose generator was faced, the what do they call it? The exhaust was faced directly to my window. So anytime I come home, I have to shut my window and all of that and put on the fan. Sit and punish me if there was no light.
Oh, no.
I'll have to open the door and all of that. When they say that, that thing led me to think that, look, it is very easy to get acquainted with suffering, poverty, and all of that.
You just adjust.
I had just had to adjust because it got to a point that one day the man and his family traveled. the generator was not on. And one funny thing is that whether there was the NEPA lights,
They kept it on regardless.
So one day that they traveled and they couldn't on the generator, I couldn't sleep.
You were so
Because
used to
you
the
had-
noise.
Because I was so used to the noise that the noise became a sleeping pill for me.
Wow.
So the moment I come back, and I got tuned to, that noise. And that day I couldn't sleep all through the night because the generator. So I was like, something is wrong.
You see why we say a lot of people need help. They need to visit the shrink. Because we've gotten accustomed to certain suffering, certain things.
We get used to it without knowing it.
Abnormalities.
I
without
have
knowing it.
Ghanaian friends that will tell me that I don't understand you Nigerians. You guys are so used to abnormal things that sometimes they wonder how we're made.
It becomes part of us.
It's part of us.
As
I
a
don't know.
people.
It's a
So I
conditioning.
understand what this young man, is passing through. The noise could be like generators, bars, and some bars, like you said. It is by 10 o'clock. I also lived with a neighbor somewhere that the man had a bar. The man was running a bar. And it got to a point that when he closes at the bar, when they come home, the business starts again. So the man starts his own business at night from the house. They will put on the music, turn it very high and all of that. And we quarreled until the man stopped it. And so I understand what the young man passed through. So it's very difficult, to let people you generate noise. If you generate noise, please be the one to consume it. Don't generate and allow
others. There are many angles to this. Just to push this a little further, you talked about a Ghanaian friend. I had a Ghanaian friend visit me at some point, and the person was alarmed how people were always running to catch up with buses. You know how a bus will. I mean, talking about abnormal things that we get used to. There's a bus stop, for goodness sake. And the boss will see people there at the bus stop and go and stop in front and have the people run to board.
You discover that even if it's only one person or two people, that person is running.
They will still run.
We get used to it.
We get used to things like that. Now, that's on one side. The issue of the man, I think we should also talk about the fact that he barged in there wielding a weapon. Now, if somebody with the whole insecurity thing going on, if somebody within that church also had a weapon, he could have been mistaken for a kidnapper or somebody who wanted to harm them. Yes. And then we wouldn't be talking about the same thing now.
We're talking about people that killed each other or one another.
Exactly. So his approach, though it achieved the result he wanted, I think it was a little bit harsh. And we should have people report to relevant agencies and have the law take its course as against taking laws into our hands.
Yes, Moses, like you and I would normally say in programs like this, we don't know where this thing started from.
I wanted
because
to say
it is
that.
not
Yes.
Absolutely.
You never can tell if the man had
How
made
much reports he
effort,
made.
that he had tried time and time again to say, look, this is enough, it's disturbing me and all of that. But it's important. I think people should just, get measured with having to pollute the environment with noise and all of that. It doesn't help even our psyche because we are passing through a lot at this moment. Now, let's move away from that and still stay in the Southeast, where the Ohanese Youth Council always has raised the alarm over the 30 million naira expression of interest funds charged by the All Progressives Congress for Ebonyi local government election, warning that it could lead to the looting of local government funds in future. Well, the national president of OYC, Iboyaka, who was reacting, to the development on Tuesday, alleged that the process could shut out youths and people of integrity from the race. Iboyaka urged Governor Francis Mwifu to ensure a level playing ground and open door policy for all aspirants in the upcoming local government and councillorship polls. He demanded that the chairmanship and councillorship nomination fees should be slashed to 150,000 and 50,000 naira respectively, warning that those who pay exorbitant fees may be inclined to embezzle local government funds after assuming offices. Well, it's that is where we are. That's how we are wired now. You see people paying 100 million naira for presidential forms, 50 million naira for governorship and senatorial, and probably 30 million naira. And you begin to ask, where do people get this money from? But to be very clear on this, my thinking is that the governor wants to shut out a lot of people.
Yes.
And probably pay the money himself to ensure that these people stay loyal to him.
Of course.
Because how many people, you know what 30 million naira is? Who will have 30 million naira?
That's just for the expression of interest form.
Just for the expression of interest form.
The nomination form might be higher.
Might be just higher, So That's another way of governors are not ready to let go of local government. They are not about to do that, you know. So this is one direct way of telling even the federal government, the central government, that look, please stay away from local government because we want to control and be in charge of it. But does it help us? Answer is no, it doesn't help us. By the time somebody doles out, or the governor doles out 30 million naira, you know, for each local government, for expression of interest. So let's look at the expression of interest and the application form itself. It could be like 50 million naira for chairmanship. And the first thing the person will do is to collect the 50 million naira. Of course, 50 million naira is nothing, considering the amount of money that they get every month. From what we hear, they share 0. some trillion of naira between the federal, the state, and the local government. So they have a lot of money. It has become an SPV, special purpose vehicle for governors, local government administration that I'm talking about. And there is nothing we can do about it until we get to a level where the National Assembly will say, look, local government, you will now be under the authority of the central government and not that of the state government. But if you do that, will it be better? Because we also see how the central government is trying to control the state governments at this point. So it boils down to the credibility of individuals running the system. There is no system that is foolproof. If you go to the United States of America, we have had very decent presidents. I'm not trying to say that the person there is not decent, but he has his way, you know, of going around issues to the extent that the other time he said he could also run for a third term. And when they said it's not possible, he said, well, the vice president could run, win, and I run as vice, and after that he'll resign. So just trying to, you know, this, is it ingenuity now or this ingenious creativity? That is what we see play out here in Nigeria, where people, you know, try to circumvent policies, principles, without actually having to break the law. This could be just one of them.
Definitely, it's an avenue to keep your own people, your own cronies in power. And 30 million. I don't know how much it was in 2023 prior to the elections, local government elections, 2022 and thereabout. But I know that for the APC in 2023, APC had the highest expression of interest and nomination forms in the country.
Yes.
Presidential elections. It was about 30 million for the presidential.
30 million, are you sure?
30 million for expression of interest. Then the nomination form, I think nomination form was about 70, so everything came up to about 100 million.
100 million.
And basically what that tells you is there's no way you would have people with genuine interest to serve get into office if they have to cough out 100 million naira just to participate in elections. And we are not even talking about campaigns and the rest of them. They will still spend on banners and posters and, you know, mobilization and the rest. So it's a problem. It's a problem. Now, who then will make the governor bend? The governor is the leader of the party in the state. So who would make him bend? Is there a law that will compel the governor to say, okay, bring the prices down so everyone can participate? I don't think there's any.
Nobody, because
so he would have his way regardless.
Like what we are saying now, civil society organizations, NGOs will just talk, and the governor will say, after making the noise, now keep quiet, you know, because that is the way it is structured.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that's where we are.
I agree with what you said. I share your sentiment about the fact that local governments in Nigeria, a lot of young people have lost touch with them. We forget that, especially in a state like Lagos, where there's so much money. There's so much money at the local governments and councils. And that's why you find out that during election days, people don't come out really for local governments to vote on the days where you have to vote in your councillors. People don't even know their councillors. Maybe I should confess, I don't even know my local government councillor. But it's a big issue, and that's where a lot of the siphoning of funds go into. Imagine you having to pay 30 million naira for expression of interest. What that means is that the lines have been shrunken, that is just left for the sponsors and the wealthy people. Those are the two sets of people that will have access to those funds, you know, and be able to, you know, do their bidding.
Yes.
So it also means that the ordinary man, the average person who actually does have like genuine interest to serve the people, is cut off. So whether we like it or not, this is just a ploy. These are just strategies to ensure
Just to
that
control the local
just
government.
to control the funds, the Commonwealth, and just to ensure that they have the say. Because if someone sponsors you with such an amount of money, it means that when you go in there, the first thing you have to
his
do
bidding.
is to do his bidding and ensure that you give him returns on investments. So how would you even go in there with the
Well,
with the money?
politicians now see politics as investment.
Yes, it's a huge investment,
As
and
investment.
we really do have a long way to go. Really do have a long.
Oh, well,
way to go.
let's touch on another story now. Troops of Operation Hadinkai Joint Task Force Northeast have arrested 3 suspected recruitment agents of the Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, in Banki Town, Bama local government area of Borno State. Credible security sources disclosed that the suspects were arrested on Saturday, January 17, 2027, following actionable intelligence provided by a prominent resident of the town. The sources said intelligence operatives were deployed to Banki in a covert operation leading to the arrest of the suspects, while they were allegedly attempting to recruit and move young persons for terrorist training. According to the sources, the suspects were involved in recruiting youth aged between 17 and 20 from Banki Town for ISWAP elements operating in Adamawa State. Preliminary investigations reveal that the suspects were former ISWAP members who claimed to have repented. And I take that again for emphasis. Former ISWAP members who claimed to have repented about 5 years ago, but were allegedly re-engaging in recruitment activities. This further buttresses what we have been talking about. When you talk about de-radicalizing these recalcitrant individuals, you're de-radicalizing within 6 months. I don't know where that is done. I mean, you're trying to get off an ideology within 6 months. It's not going to work. It has not worked. And we have only continued to deceive ourselves and allow insecurity to persist in the country. So they raise their hands in surrender. We take them in, and by we, I mean the government now, at different levels, state and the federal. We take them in and, give them food to eat, give them a roof over their head, give them good clothes, and then push them out back into the society that they have tormented. So the people whose brothers and sisters and mothers they've killed will see them. And then, of course, they have fear of them. And they come around and say, okay, they want to learn how to do one trade. And they start to interact with the people. And I say this, I've said this here before. If you have tasted power, like real power, you would not want to let go. Power that makes people tremble at your presence. You would not want to let go of it. So these people, with their guns and everything, have had people tremble at their presence, and you want them to let that go. We are deceiving ourselves in this country, and there's a ready market for recruits, really, with out of school children, hanging around. It's just an opportunity for people to easily delve into crime, and the economy, of course, not people finding it difficult to provide. It's unfortunate that this is happening, and of course, this is happening at different levels, especially within northern parts of Nigeria.
Well, some of the times when we talk about these things, it gets so frustrated because I don't even know what to say again. Is there anything we have not said about this de-radicalization and all of that? The people involved understand. So when you put everything together, it gives you the impression that, look, it lends credence to the fact that, look, a certain group of people are interested in this insecurity. They don't want it to go. They like it festering because one way or the other, they benefit from it. And if it is not instant benefit, it speaks to an agenda over time. People will get used to it and they will surrender and all of that. That is what it looks to me like, because you cannot be, don't be surprised that in the next we are talking about people, who are being paid. Levies are paid to people that we have, people that have killed others, we bring them, pay them levies, reintegrate them to society. Something that we should have done earlier by having some kind of build a structure where these things, we criminalized all of these people by not allowing them, to even access good life at the earlier stages of their life. That is the problem. So it gets to a point where you criminalize them, you go back, to try to make amends, and you don't do that. You keep doing it. For how long are we going to do this? It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I always like to say as well that it's not really a security problem we are facing in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned. It's actually a governance problem. Because when we talk about insecurity, have we ever bothered to ask why these bandits, why these, what do you call them, recalcitrant militants, why they operate in certain areas? It's because those people most times are sympathetic to their causes. And they also do not thrive in comfortable communities where there's poverty, there's hopelessness. People feel that the best way they can, have a sense of belonging is to buy into the ideals of these people. I mean, the bandits and these militants. So as long as we still have those
I think what you are talking about is basically the Stockholm syndrome, where people get used to their sympathizers.
So used to
over time, but I think there is a vacuum that they provide.
Yes.
Because the government on its own has failed to provide those things. Because you see, like in Hamas, if you go to Gaza now, what Hamas does is that those things that government is not able to provide, the people, Hamas as an organization provides those things. So people get used to it, and that is what is happening here, more like.
Oh, well, let's quickly run to the papers now and take headlines. Nigerian Tribune is up. Governor Yusuf's defection. Kanu APC chiefs warn of forced marriage travails. Tinubu set to meet Kwankwanso after session with Yusuf. Barayu, Gandhi's roads remain key issues. NNPP leader may get top government appointments. And then the window headlines. WEF 2026, Edun advances Nigeria's interest in Davos, says FG will rely less on debt, focus on driving investment. Dezani's trial in £100,000 bribery case begins in London to last 12 weeks. Constitution, see, there's a time frame to that, meaning it's not going to run for
forever.
Yes. All right. Constitution review. Meanwhile, Godwin Emefiele is still having issues. Okay, don't worry. Okay. Constitution review. We will begin clause by clause consideration January 27. Senate. State police special seats for women top list. State police special seats for women top list. Report reveals low awareness of Nigeria's 2025 tax law among business owners in states. And then we also have PDP presidential ticket opened to all Southerners, including Jonathan Turaki. NWC visits Namadi Sambo. Court orders INEC to publish David Mark's ADC list for FCT area council election. And on health, artificial saliva made from sugar cane, promising solution to severe cavities. Reports. Okay. Well, those are the headlines on the cover page of Nigerian Tribune.
Yeah, on the front page of the Punch newspaper today, alleged terror financing. Malami faces long detention as DSS intensifies investigation. Secret police signal tough stance, prepare court action to detain the ex-AGF further as terror financing case unfolds. And still in the front page of the Punch newspaper, businesswoman Achimogu kicks as EFCC seeks $13 million for feature. DSS frees Ogun pastor associates after public outcry. EFCC quizzes Benue officials over alleged 4.6 billion naira fraud. Domestic refiners move to cut petrol imports. Nigerians spend 1.54 trillion naira on beer, others in 9 months. Nigeria's ECOWAS exports fall by 13% after Sahel states exit. Talking finance, state hosting IDPs, $12 million World Bank loan. How 5 soldiers, policeman killed in Zamfara, ambush. Federal government doubles January bond borrowing to 900 billion naira.
Okay, let's quickly run through the Guardian newspaper with the window headlines. PDP chair meets ex-VP Sambo, says ticket open to Jonathan, others. FG employers may clash over planned increase in employee compensation levy. Rivers Assembly shuns Pandef peace panel over Fubara's impeachment. Now the big story itself, Electoral Act, gaps in e-transmission, vote buying sanctions, spark calls for reform. Court orders INEC to recognize published ADC's list for FCT Council election. Lagos to divert traffic as repairs resume on Lekki-Epe Expressway. Most stories from the Guardian newspaper. Davos. Nigeria pitches fiscal discipline as EU leaders condemn Trump's new colonialism. Sanwo-Olu Ezekwesili Bika over Makoko demolition, alleged operation. FCT workers' strike continues as union faults government's compliance claim. Presidency accuses IPOB of peddling Christian genocide propaganda. Guess the $9 million is working. Trial of driver in death of Anthony Joshua's friends adjourned till February 25. Now, that's it from the Guardian newspaper.
And that's pretty much how far we can go on newspaper headlines. We'll get into reviewing those headlines much later in the day at 10 a.m., I beg your pardon. But in the meantime, IPOB holds pro-Trump rally in Southeast, calls for Kanu'S release. Let's get into this conversation, talk about it, make sense of it when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is Africa News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the streets,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokobo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenda Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka. I'm an about the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 is coming up on Barney 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Town.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secret. facts. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Ofamilani, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. Now, this is VOP This Morning. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, on Tuesday held a peaceful rally in 3 southeast states of Abia, Anambra, and Ebonyi to mark the infamous January 20, 2027 massacre of its members and Biafra agitators by Nigerian security operatives. Well, IPOB members were holding a rally to mark the inauguration of President Donald Trump of the United States of America, USA, during his first tenure, when security personnel opened fire on them, killing scores of the pro-Biafran agitators. Well, a statement issued by the IPOB Media and Publicity Directorate on Tuesday evening said the remembrance rally was very peaceful. According to the statement, IPOB members held prayers at strategic locations in the affected states during the rally. It also said that participants at the rally called for the release of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. Well, we've been joined in the studio here by Mr. Somi Oranta. Mr. Oranta is a philosopher and an entrepreneur as well as a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Mr. Oranta, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you.
We appreciate your presence. We also have beside him Barrister Darlington Agommo. Barrister Agommo is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Barrister, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Koro, Jane, and Moses.
Good
morning,
pleasure. All right. Barrister, let me start with you. IPOB members in the Southeast held a rally to commemorate the January 20, 2017 massacre of its members. You know, we recall that year, 2017, that's about 8 years ago, you know, where they were holding a rally to commemorate, in fact, to rejoice with President Donald Trump, you know, on his electoral victory and swearing in into office. And all of a sudden, according to reports, you know, Nigerian security operatives opened fire on them. And 7 years later, they are commemorating that day. What's their reaction to events of that day and events that have happened in the past 5 years regarding the agitation itself, the trial of the IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, and how the Nigerian state, you know, has treated that agitation that spans more than 20, 30 years. In fact, as a matter of fact, a lot of people believe that, look, the issues that gave rise to the agitation or the issues that gave rise to the civil war have not been addressed up until this moment, and that they are widening and deepening and even going beyond the Southeast region and other states, you know, other regions of the Federation. Let's have your broad reaction to events as they are captured by you.
Yes, the development is a welcome one because the IPOB members, what they have been talking about, have now come to realization. Most Nigerians did not understand what these guys were up to before. All the things they said about Nigeria is what you are seeing today. The thing is that you cannot live in denial for too long. With this peaceful rally and all that, Donald Trump should be made aware of all these things. They should articulate all these things and then make sure that he gets the attention of Donald Trump, because in his first coming, as a U.S. president, that was when this thing happened. Okay. And now he has come back, and the issues are still there, and these guys are being persecuted. So Donald Trump should be made aware. And the Nigerian states, in fact, I should say that it is a shame on them, because what these guys stood for, what they have been talking about, is what the same Donald Trump have come to address in Nigeria. You can imagine. Eh? Is it not irony that the same man they were commemorating his inauguration and all that is the person that have come to save Nigeria? Eh? So on that score, the Nigerian state should carry the shame and recognize these guys for what they were talking about. If they had listened to them, maybe Donald Trump would have come.
Okay, now, Barrister, so talking about informing Donald Trump of the development of what happened in 2017 and what happened yesterday, and the fact that you are saying, look, if they had listened to these people, Donald Trump probably wouldn't have come.
Exactly.
Now, it's going to be a major topic of discussion, but you wouldn't be available. So I just want you to run briefly through. Wouldn't it also give the impression, like the federal government is saying in the newspaper, that, look, the idea, you know, of Trump coming into Nigeria was initiated by pro-Biafra groups, IPOB, that they are the ones that are making the issue of Christian genocide become prominent in the United States of America, especially to the Trump administration operators. So wouldn't it, as a matter of fact, spike this thinking that, look, these are the people behind it?
Fine. Please, what they did, is this for the good of Nigeria or for the bad of Nigeria? Don't tell me. If the idea came from them, the federal government should congratulate them because that is the national service they did. What the federal government could not do, IPOB members or Igbos invited Donald Trump to come and do it. So why are they not attacking Donald Trump? If what he came to do here was is not in the interest of Nigeria, why should they not own up? In fact, they should be praising themselves that they have done a national duty for Nigeria. IPOB members, when they accuse you of being responsible for Donald Trump, beat your chest and say, yes, we thank God we did it. Yes. That is what they refused to do. They now invited somebody who came to do it. And let me tell you, remember they have proscribed IPOB as a terrorist organization. So if actually they were a terrorist organization, would Donald Trump have listened to them? All this is a shame on the federal government. A group they should recognize for who they are, what they represent. You are not demonizing them, vilifying them. But elsewhere, outside here, they are recognized. So if they accuse you that you are the one that brought Donald Trump, beat your chest and say, yes, we did it. And he came for the good of Nigeria.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Let's bring Mr. Somi Oranta into this conversation. Mr. Oranta, how do you react to this rally, where IPOB elements, members of the IPOB, are commemorating the massacre of their members? Is it something that should be encouraged, or is it going to bring back bad feelings? Is it going to generate some kind of, animosity once again between it and the Nigerian state? Especially when we hear, according to Barrister, that IPOB has been proscribed. But we also hear, anyway, the case is in appeal. So presently it's been proscribed. So is it going to kind of, this commemoration that they did, how do you think that the federal government will react to it?
Well, in the first instance, as a nation, we must be able to value human lives. You cannot say to someone who is grieving over the loss of, friends, brothers and sisters, you cannot tell them not to, remember or commemorate the loss, the pains, and all that, because they are the ones that feel the pain. But I also want to thank the Nigerian government and the armed forces for not, once again, attacking IPOB members, because that could have led to other fatalities as well. Because you will recall that IPOB was never they were never violent prone until the government of Buhari radicalized them. So, but the fact that they decided to commemorate, the situation of how they lost their members during that issue with issue with the federal government authorities, I think I am glad that nothing happened, because they could actually, the military men could get trigger happy.
Do you think that the federal government backpedaled now because of probably Trump is involved and because of what Trump has done in recent times, talking about the Sokoto intervention?
You can't rule it out. You can't rule it out because, there is an organization in the US that have there's an app where they are recording everything on its own, recording every killings that occur in Nigeria, every killings, even the ones the government refused to admit, the ones they tried to hide or compel people not to, to underreport it. They are recording these whole things. So I think that might have played a role, because for the Ipob members to come out and do that protest, it cannot, I'm happy that there was no issue, after it.
Okay, Barrister,
Yeah.
Legally speaking, what do you think is Ipob's real motive for fighting or clamoring for Nnamdi Kanu's release? Is it violation of his rights, or do you think it's because of political persecution?
Nnamdi Kanu was wrongly jailed from what we are seeing today and what is happening, there are those who did worse things than Nnamdi Kanu. It's on record. Nnamdi Kanu was wrongly jailed. Seriously. His rights and everything was flagrantly disobeyed. The man who was so ebullient, who was so happy to go and kidnap Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, is now facing the same thing that he accused Nnamdi Kanu of. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine this poetic irony in life? You can see. Whatever you sow, you reap. If somebody had told Malami that you go through this thing one day, he wouldn't have believed it. The very man who orchestrated Nnamdi Kanu's kidnap and all that, even when the court said he should go, that Nnamdi Kanu should, Malami insisted that Nnamdi Kanu must be brought back and face some spurious charges. The same thing EFCC did to them. When he left the court, they arrested him on the court immediately and took him back to prison. So that is how life is. So with all this development, the whole world can now see that Nnamdi Kanu was wrongly jailed. All the things he was saying, nobody said that it is wrong or no, it's not true, it's not happening, no. Is it not the same thing that you are witnessing today? Imagine if the federal government had called these people, like they have been dialoguing with Toju Bello and other terrorists. If they had called Ipob and said, come, my people, come, what is wrong? What are you people talking about? What happened? For a dialogue. Maybe this thing would have died down. They will not give them the assurances and all that. And maybe they will step down. Like they did this protest yesterday. Did anybody die? Did they kill anybody? Were they carrying gun? That was exactly what they were doing. Before the federal government under Buhari started using gun to kill all of them.
Barrister, talking about the release of Nnamdi, recently, there's been this engagement, this collaboration between the U.S. government and Nigerian government security agencies. And, well, before then, U.S. said, before we backpedal, on our threat of having to take out these people, there are certain things that we need you to do. Exactly. And we understand that one of them was the release of Sunday Jackson, the farmer that was jailed by the Supreme Court in Adamawa. Is it Adamawa in Taraba, somewhere in the northeast? Yeah. And we saw him released. He was granted pardon and clemency. Do you think that release of Nnamdi Kanu might at some point come in the table?
He's already on the table.
Between the U.S. government and Nigerian authorities?
Okoro is already on the table.
How
Whether
so?
the U.S. will put the amount of federal, it's already on the table. Nnamdi Kanu must be released. No. Because it is obvious that that man was wrongly jailed. From these terrorists that are working all over the place.
But I want us to be factual.
The factual is that it's on the table already. Okay, so at a point, it will come up.
But for now, it hasn't come up.
It's already, discussions are going on.
Let's be very clear.
The government
at the point it will come up, or is already on the table.
Hold on, I told you now that discussion is going on behind closed doors. Okay. It's not something that will just wake up.
Between the U.S. government and Nigerian
No. Nigerian government and some Ibo leaders.
Okay. Yes. My direct question is, do you think that at some point, it might be on the table? U.S. will say, look, if you do this, we need you to do this. I said it's already on the table. Which table now? Both Nigerian government and the U.S. government table is there. It's part of it because the Igbo leaders of thought and some other concerns are already talking about it, but it's behind closed doors. Until that discussion is concluded, we are still talking about it. We are still raising that issue. Because we are now seeing that, yes, from all indication, this man was wrongly jailed. Because people have done worse things. Mr. Okoro, some terrorists are occupying part of Nigeria in Sokoto and Plateau State, as I talk to you now. 2 of us. Did Nnamdi Kanu take away any part of Nigeria and say this is Biafran land when he was agitating? Tell me. Some people are occupying Nigerian territory, Nigerian land, as I talk to you today. Who are those people? Did Nnamdi Kanu go that far? But Riley Moore, U.S. House member, was in Nigeria on a fact-finding mission, and he visited Benue and Plateau.
Yes.
And when he went back, he said he saw over 600.
Exactly.
Exactly. Internally displaced people. Exactly. Now, since he went back to the United States, do you think that it's also on the table that American government might say, look, Nigerian government, if you want to show sincerity, if you want to show intentionality in fighting this problem, these people must go back to their home.
Exactly.
No, I'm asking, do you think that...
It must. It's not a question of do you think. It must. Mr. Okoro, it must for Nigeria to get back on its tracks. Because you cannot have your citizens living in IDP camp and then you go to bed every night and sleep and wake up. And you swore to protect them. You don't even need US to tell you this. You don't need US. So are they going to live in IDP camp forever? No, tell me. The people of Benue and Plateau, are they going to live in IDP camp forever?
Barrister, you seem to be missing my point.
What is the point?
My point is, at this moment, those people are still in ID camp. My direct question is, do you think that at some point it will be on the table on discussion between Nigerian government and US government?
I don't told you that, yes, it must. Do you need someone to tell you that? As a government, do you need someone to even tell you that? Let's be sincere here. These are your Nigerian citizens. And I ask you again, are they going to live in IDP camp forever? Would they go back to their home? Do you need anybody to tell you to go and do the needful? More so when the people occupying their villages and their homes are foreign terrorists.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Let's return Mr. Somi Ranta into this conversation. Mr. Ranta, I want you to tell us, do you think that, the same question that I asked Barrister, I want your reaction to it. Do you think that at the moment, the release of Nnamdi Kanu might be on the table when Nigerian government and US government are holding collaborative discussions? Is there a possibility that they might just consider and say, look, you need to release this young man because he was wrongly jailed according to reliable information or the information that we have, or even according to evidence available to us?
I certainly cannot say specifically.
Okay.
But I suppose it should be on the part of the discussion. I suppose it should be.
Okay.
But I cannot say specifically because what the American government is trying to do is to ensure justice, equity, and fairness, especially to the downtrodden, to those who are being marginalized, in Nigeria. That's what they are trying to do. So, with what has happened to Nnamdi Kanu, certainly it was against international law. It was against the principle of justice, equity, and fairness, even though at the international level, those who are the superpowers decide what is equitable, what is fair, and what is just. Understand me? So that's the way I see it. But if it's not already on the table, it will come to the table.
Sometime.
Yes.
Okay, as you round up this discussion, now, Barrister, I would like for you, because I understand that you have to move on to other things. What's your concluding thought on this matter? And I would like for you to factor in the fact that, look, the agitation itself is still alive. If we have people, pro-Biafran groups still saying, look, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, we are still being marginalized and all of that, how far do you think that they can drive this agenda?
The earlier APC government take away political sentiment out of this matter, the better. Because even if APC leaves office tomorrow, the next government will inherit this problem. So the earlier they release Nnamdi Kanu, the better. Let them stop all the political sentiment that within Nnamdi Kanu's release, we will not have our way in the Southeast. He will be dominating those things are lost. They are secondary. The important thing is that Biafra land or whatever, or Ipob, is in the mind of the Igbos as I talk to you today. These other people that have done worse things, Mr. Okoro, what have you done to them? That is the first question. What Nnamdi Kanu was doing and what these people have done so far, which one is better? It was the activities of these people that made Donald Trump to come and bomb Nigeria. Didn't Nnamdi Kanu invite Donald Trump to come and bomb Nigeria? So you should be considerate in whatever you are doing. That is what I'm saying here. These people have done worse things that everybody can see. Yet, they are being pampered. They are being behaving as if it is their right, But Nnamdi Kanu was agitating for what? Self-determination. Is that not the cause of the matter? Did they ransack any village? Did they say that Muslims will convert to Christians before he can lay down his agitation? No! A simple matter that is not recognized by the United Nations. That is why no other country in the whole world have seen Ipob as a terrorist organization, except Buhari's government. So what does that tell you? That is where injustice comes in. You pamper your people who have been killing and maiming and destroying people's land and property. You pamper them, you cover them. But one young man who said, no, what you are doing to us is not good. We want self-determination. You now judge him. Is that fair?
Okay, all right. All right, then. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agomo. I understand that we'll have to let you go, but we still have in the studio here with us Mr. Somi Oranta. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, Inter-Society accuses New York Times of falsifying Christian genocide reports. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Emeka Balasi was born in Ezinifite, Agwata local government area of Anambra State in February 1969. He has been a human rights and democracy campaigner since 1994, when he joined Civil Liberties Organization, CLO, Nigeria's premier human rights and pro-democracy campaigner. Balasi became a volunteer member of Amnesty International Nigeria in 1995, and later served as this group coordinator of Onitsha Pre-Group. And from 1996 to 1998, he was an international associate member of Human Rights Watch, USA. Emeka Balasi is a criminologist and graduate of Security Studies with a second-class upper division from the National Open University of Nigeria, where he also obtained a master's degree in peace studies and conflict resolution. The various positions he held in different human rights and pro-democracy movements, as well as membership of several local and international NGOs and bodies, gave him the experiences, expertise, courage, inspirations, and aspiration to form the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, Inter-Society, in 2008. This is why himself and his group are not taken lightly the latest report referring to him as an Onitsha-based screwdriver salesman whose data to the United States government were derived from secondary and unverified sources. However, in a statement on Monday, Inter-Society accused the American newspaper of spinning a perfidy of lies in its report. The statement, co-signed by Balasi and other Inter-Society officials, said it was shocked and totally disappointed at the lies injuriously credited to the organization, saying they were never part of the interview that lasted for not less than 3 hours. New York Times lied when it falsely claimed that our board chair admitted that he often does not verify his data. The statement reads,
Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Ipob Dokobo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kanu'S and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 coming up on Bunny 9, right? 2564 Atlantic Town.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Ika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. The International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law Inter-Society has accused the New York Times of misrepresenting facts and falsely attributing statements to its founder, Emeka Umeagbalasi. In a report on claims of Christian persecution in Nigeria, the rights group said it was shocked and totally disappointed by what it described as a perfidy of lies contained in the report published on Sunday by the American newspaper. In the report, the New York Times claimed that Umeagbalasi admitted he often does not verify his data and that his findings were largely based on secondary sources, such as Christian interest groups, Nigerian media reports, and internet searches. It's also alleged that he referred to Fulani people as animals and advocated confining them to one state, a suggestion the newspaper described as tantamount to ethnic cleansing. Well, the newspaper article claimed that the United States relied on information produced by the Onitsha-based trader to justify its first official missile airstrike carried out in Nigeria on December 25, 2025. Well, we do have joining us, we still have with us in the studio, Somil Ranta, and also from our Benin station, we have a comrade Purpose Osamwe joining the conversation. And we actually have Emeka Umeagbalasi, founder of International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, popularly known as the Inter-Society, joining the conversation. We seek to hear from the horse's mouth, as it were. Good morning to you, Mr. Umeagbalasi.
Thank you, brother.
Well, good to have you join the conversation. I hope we'll be able to have this conversation with the audio feed. Well, now let's talk about what you have done. Let's just give us, in 1 minute, take us through a quick catalog of reports that your association, your non-governmental organization has done, the Inter-Society. What sorts of reports, what would you say are the high points of your publication? In 1 minute, please, just a few of them.
Systematic and coordinated attacks on Christians and churches across the country in the past 16 years, 2009 to 2025. That's it.
All right, so about crisis. All right, I'm struggling to hear you. I just hope this will. Well, now let's talk about that report, the interview. Let's talk about the interview.
You didn't get what I said.
Yes, you may repeat that, please.
I said you asked me to say something in 1 minute. I said it's simple. It is about systematic and coordinated attacks on Christians across the country by Muslim jihadists and the churches too.
Okay, so
That's the report.
That's the one that was reported by New York Times.
In the past 16 years. In the past 16 years.
Oh, you've been covering this for the past 16 years.
Yeah. That's what brought the New York Times to us. That's what I mean.
So the New York Times, okay, yes. So that's what brought the New York Times to you. Oh well. Talking about that interview, granted that you granted New York Times, it was revealed. And how do you react? I understand that Inter-Society is already reacting to the reports, the way it was framed, that you basically just get your sources, get your information from the internet sources without accurate data, without verifying your data. How do you react to that assertion by New York Times? Well, we still have Mr. Emeka Umeagbalasi with us.
Yeah, and I'm still here. You know, network is it's becoming unfriendly.
I understand.
Yeah, so
yes. So how do you react? If you heard the question, how do you react to the publication by New York Times about you not verifying information, the way it should be before you put them out there, or the manner in which you get your information? How do you react to that?
I think without going around the cycle, I think it seems we are going around the cycle. The issue. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't understand the circle. We are just starting a conversation.
I'm
trying to get the basis of it.
So I think we have to look at the fundamental issues there. Our report on systematic and coordinated killing of Christians in Nigeria by Islamic jihadists. It's not something that started today.
Now, for some information to be considered viable, we need to x-ray the methodology of acquiring that information. So if New York Times is reporting that according to you, the interview that you granted, that you don't verify your information, you verify it by, internet sources, which basically distorts the information and does not lay credence to the information that you put out there. And I'm asking the question, how do you react to that report? Does it offend you, or is that accurate? That you just check data from, you just assume information and put it out there? That's the question I'm asking. And you say we're going around circles. Can you clarify how you react to that report by New York Times? All right. Well, if it seems like the internet isn't making this fluid, or probably you don't want to react to that question. Okay. So tell us about what happened when you were contacted by New York Times, and you have said your society, Inter-Society, has said, look, what was published was a misrepresentation of your own side of the story. So give us your own side of the story. Emeka, do we have you online? Well, you might need to unmute your device so we can get your audio feed. I understand that you have muted your device. Can you do that for us, please? All right, we seem to have lost connection to Mr. Emeka Umeagbalasi, convener of Inter-Society. Well, Somi Ranta, talking about this publication, some Nigerians have reacted that the classification of Igbo trader
in that report put out could not have come from a journalist in America, because that the usage of that term is not something that they are familiar with. Some have said that probably the report was put together from some sources here in Nigeria and pushed out there. How do you react to that? And what does that aim to achieve? Profiling, as it were.
Profiling, yes, I agree with you. And I also feel that the $9 million, lobbying funding is also at work. But I would like to urge Nigerians, whoever is behind this whole thing, to be mindful. To be mindful, because if you begin to create this kind of scenarios, nobody knows how it can get to. Trying to pitch one ethnic group against the other and all that does not pay anybody at the end of the day. Because we are Nigerians. You putting up that kind of game will not pay anybody. Just like you said, an American press, American writer will not be talking about screwdriver and all that, tagging the report, the Intersociety founder as a trader.
Yes.
Emo
trader.
Yes, it is common with, it is kind of narrative that we push around here. But that does not make the average woman a trader, academically and otherwise, just like the other parts of Nigeria. So we have to be careful, because if we keep pushing this ethnic narrative, it could lead to something else.
Do you think that this is part of the lobbying?
I've said it already.
That was paid
I've said it already.
Okay.
Yes, but my concern is that you can lobby, but don't go into this kind of dangerous ethnic profiling, because pitching one group against the other, because certainly you cannot expect that America will, the Trump administration will not base the facts on just one source, or like they said, a trader. Look, the Americans, they know Nigeria more than we do. We are like blind, so to say. Our intelligence community is, compared to what they have there, is blind. Because when the Americans, when they came to the border between Nigeria and Niger Republic to rescue an American citizen that was kidnapped, our authorities were not aware of it until the job was already done and on their way before they alerted us. So they have every information about what is going on here. They view Nigeria from satellite. So using all these, I understand that even the American government, Trump administration, is suing that paper.
New York Times.
Yes, for such malicious, publication, because they try to make the whole administration look bad before the American society or the world.
Intelligence gathering of the American society.
Yes. But I know that they mean a country that can go to another country and take actions without any casualties.
Such information from an NGO is enough to propel America to carry out such actions.
They must have their own. Even, what are we even talking about? Even Nigerian government told us that they too have intelligence which they share with the Americans. So then the US on their own did their own. For them to send a
lawmaker
to Nigeria, they spend time discussing Nigeria. How many times have our own lawmakers discussed this issue of insecurity in Nigeria? They spend time. They brought different people to share their opinions, their experiences, and all that. They are not like we do here. We don't mean business.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Somi Oranta. Let's connect to our guest in Benin Station. We have Comrade Purpose, Osawoyi. Comrade Purpose, good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation. Now, yes, good to have you. You're smiling. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this report. I mean, Nigerians have been talking about it since Monday, basically, about how a screwdriver seller, Igbo trader, gave information to America to carry out that December 25 attack, the bombing in Sokoto. Now, the inter-society itself has said, look, this was taken out of context. What the founder said and what was published is, not the same thing. But what do you think this aims to achieve, really? Because we know that inter-society may not have been the only organization that put out information. We have newspaper publications, different tabloids also churned out information on insecurity in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, first of all, the way they presented the issue, it shows the New York Times were already biased, just like the other presenters said. They are trying to do an image laundering to see that they want to discredit that report. Inter-society, the founder is not just alone. An NGO is not found. It's not found and run by one person. They have board and they have procedure. And to discredit that report and to say that to discredit that report, it's I think it is just a way to work for the room of the $9 billion lobby to change the narrative. Because from the fact on ground, it shows that what the report said is true. Another thing is, we might take this report now as because we are trying to do an image laundering thing, we might look at it as, yes, so how that report, we should look down on that report. But that also goes to show that tomorrow America will come and discredit any reports coming from Nigeria. As we talk today now, most of the data we have is not believe the international the global world don't believe on data generated by Nigerians. These are some of the things that is driving that narrative. But you calling the researcher an Igbo trader already shows what you want to prove. Already show that from the beginning of the story, before you interview the founder, you already be biased. The interview was conducted just to discredit the work that the organization did, which is truly wrong. From my own, from the reality of ground, we have other reports. We have so many reports that have been reported.
Hello.
It is the Ipob, it is the Ipob people that are trying to promote the Christian genocide. And if you now look at this narrative, it's also trying to align with that first allegation that is about the Ipob, is about the Bradford that is promoting this Christian genocide. But the fact on ground knows that there's Christian genocide, and we need to act about it. Instead of we trying to blame the messenger, why not let us take the message and work with the
All right, Comrade Purpose, thanks very much for joining us. Let me stay with you. The New York Times is a highly regarded tabloid in the United States of America, very influential by every standard. They have a way of influencing politics within Washington, within the Washington circle and all of that. Now, this report coming from New York Times, do you think that it is going to sway the Trump administration's perception, of what is going on in Nigeria? How far do you think, it will influence Trump's administration's decision in Nigeria? And I like the fact that you said there are also other sources. Which sources are you talking about? Are you talking about Nigerian government intel, American government intel, or reports from other NGOs?
Yeah, before the Trump action, people were invited to come and confirm some of the reports that the American people have. We have true life stories, and we have other people confirming it. So Trump acted not based on that report. There are other reports that is available to the Trump administration before he acts. The government cannot just act based on one report. They must have looked at the evidence and wait and take those decisions. Even the Nigerian government, they don't deny this, but they just said it is not Christian. It is a Christian genocide that they are against, but they are not against the burning of churches and the killing of innocent Nigerians.
Comrade, I want to take you up on this. Don't you think that this controversy has actually exposed a much deeper problem, which is the credibility of data finding and gathering in Nigeria? Who do you think should be responsible, ideally, for data on issues like this, such as kidnappings, killings, and the Christian massacres, as we term it?
Yes, just like I said before, data credibility in Nigeria has always been a questionable action when you try to present data. Most of the data we presented, it is often believed that either the data, there is an error or there is a fraudulent data that we are producing. So when this data came up, the first thing they want to attack is that credibility of that data. And if we agree that this data is not credible, that is going to affect other data coming from any other source or any other research. Even if the data is conducted by an institution, they are also going to question the credibility of such data. So that is why we also need to confirm those data. What we need to do now is let other agencies come up and confirm those data. If the data that is being brought forth, if it is correct or if there is error. But without you confirming those data, you don't have the legal right to say the data source is not is from the internet. So what you need to do is you now spend the resources and gather your own information to compare both data and see if this data is accurate. Instead of we just taking one side, trying to condemn the messenger and the message.
All right, let's bring this back to the studio now. We do have Mr. Somi Oranta. I'm trying to see if we can get a tweet by Riley Moore, a U.S. representative. He tweeted, if we have that one, we can put that one up on the screen. He made this tweet here where he said, look, he said, horrific news. Armed radical Muslim Fulani attacked 3 churches yesterday and kidnapped more than 100 Christian worshippers. All right. He goes on to say, our brothers and sisters in Christ are facing an existential threat at the hands of the Fulani militants. More must be done to protect them. And I urge the Nigerian government to ensure the swift and safe return of all those who were captured. He basically quoted a Sahara Reports publication in that message. Now, this is from a message. This is a report that the government of Nigeria, the local government in that state, Kajuru local government area, and the commissioner of police over there denied. They did say there was no such thing, because by the time the police got to the venue, the area where the kidnapping took place, they didn't find any evidence of kidnap. Yes, there you have it. That's the tweet by Riley Moore himself. Now, do you think Nigerian government is doing the right thing by denying such reports, denying that there are killings taking place, Christians are being attacked? Is that the right thing, or shouldn't they ensure that perpetrators are brought to book? Wouldn't that, assuage anger? And messages like this.
You see, when things happen, and instead of looking out how to take care of the situation, going to the root cause of the problem, and you are looking at how to deny the effect of it, you are compounding the whole situation. You are compounding it. Because what we are seeing, even as it is now, I will not be surprised if nothing happens to this police commissioner, that local government chairman.
We also have states where, the governors have said, look, media, stop reporting these things because, don't report these things.
But you see, I'm thinking that those who superintend over the affairs of this nation, that spend, the hard-earned money of this nation, taxpayers' money that even the citizens want to be taxed, even some more, they don't care about the reasons why they spend the money, how they spend it. How do you go to pay somebody to lobby to tell you that the time is about to 10 o'clock now, to tell you pay somebody to go and millions of dollars to go and convince somebody that at this hour that is midnight in Nigeria, and it's so clear, it's not a waste of time. We've been doing this over time. We have discovered that when the government tells you deny something, what is being denied is usually the case. How could they even take it to the point of denying that kind of situation? But let's even ask, how did Kaduna State is highly fortified? How did they manage to to coordinate 3 attacks in different locations, 3 churches simultaneously, and carry all these 170 people out to wherever they took them to? What is happening? And then the government is denying it. That famous statement by the late Abacha, that when an insurgency, lasts for more than 48 hours, that the government has a hand in it. I mean, he's showing with
everything playing out now, do you think the government, I mean, when America got involved, there were talks that, look, this will be nipped in the bud, this will be dealt with because the government of America has gotten involved. But what we see play out now, do you think we will see the end to insecurity?
The matter has not even started. We are yet to begin the issue. Because you see, if the American government was thinking of collaborating with the Nigerian authorities, they now know that it will be foolhardy for them to cooperate or share intelligence with the Nigerian security architecture. Because a people that deny the existence of kidnapping situation coordinated in 3 locations all at once, 170-something people, lives, some families of 12 that came to church were part of the people that were taken away. So how do you share intelligence with a system that denied the existence of such a thing?
Mr. Ranka, when you said that Moses asked a question and you said that we have not even started.
Yes.
Is it that we have not started solving the problem, or that the issue of insecurity is just about to start? Which one is it?
The issue of insecurity has not even started. It's warming up to
it's
start.
Going to get worse?
Of course it's going to get worse. Because, look, if you have a child that steals from you and you hide it, you're hiding this child. After stealing maybe steals from people. Whenever he cannot find people outside to steal, he will even steal you, the parent.
Okay, so we have not even, the problem of insecurity has not even started.
Then the American, of course.
Okay.
Then the American intervention, look, we have to be careful. Because the way it is, Nigeria is right now for the world to know that Nigeria is a terrorist sponsoring and enabling nation. Because the list of those who are sponsoring these people, look, that's why people are saying that Malamese arrest and rearrest and all that. It's just smell witch hunt. That's what people are saying. Because you are covering this that it's not happening. And you say this man is a sponsor, an enabler of terrorism. And you are covering the one that is so clear. So I don't understand. You see, we are headed nowhere. We are in a vicious circle. And it's terrible. In the 21st century, where information flows at the push of a button, that this kind of thing will be happening, and people are wasting time, wasting energy, discussing and spending money.
All right then. Well, this would be a good place to anchor this conversation. We'll pick it up again as we try to reconnect with Emeka Umabalasi, the founder of Inter Society, so we can get his thoughts and his reaction to the publication of the New York Times. But in the meantime, let's get into another conversation now. Rights group accuses soldiers of blocking access to community amid Kaduna kidnap saga. Let's talk about this when we come back. Stay with us.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. The Voice.
Welcome back. The human rights organization Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria, CSWN, has insisted that more than 100 worshippers were abducted by suspected bandits during coordinated attacks on churches in Kominwali community, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, despite official denials by security agencies and local authorities. The organization said the alleged abductions occurred on Sunday when heavily armed assailants attacked 3 churches in Kominwali during worship services, forcibly taking over 100 congregants into the bush. In a statement issued on Tuesday, CSWN's research and press officer Ruben Buhari maintained that the abductions did occur and accused security operatives of obstructing independent verification of the incident. The group alleged that its fact-finding team was prevented by soldiers from accessing Kominwali despite presenting valid identification. Still with us to discuss this issue, we have Mr. Sonny Oranta. So logistically speaking, abducting over 100 people is not a small thing. So how is this able to happen? You know, how is it possible to abduct 100 people? And we keep saying that there was no intelligence report. And how do you even convey 100 people into a bush through a path, and we didn't even have any contact with security operatives?
You know, with Kaduna, highly fortified state, we have the NDA and all sorts of military formations in that state, that 100 and something, 170 thereabout, 160 something people will be taken away from 3 churches and moved out of which bush? Where had they moved? How did it come to be that these same security men who are now stopping people from going to verify?
All right. Okay, sorry, please. I would like for you to hold your thoughts there because we have an eyewitness joining the conversation. Comrade Isaac Tanko. Comrade Isaac Tanko, if you can hear me, please unmute your device so we can get your audio feed. And tell us, you are an eyewitness. I mean, that's how you have been described. Tell us what happened according to your own observation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for having me. It is a sad event that occurred on Sunday. Though the media and the security and the state government tried to conceal the information, unfortunately, the communities were unable to be patient and wait for the government, because the day this thing happened, immediately the next day, the local government chairman went to that community alongside the divisional police officer. They confirmed these reports, but they told them to be calm as they are going to rescue those people back.
Sorry, please. Let's get that clear. Let's get that clear. You're saying that the local government chairman and the divisional police officer who have denied the abduction in the papers actually confirmed the report when they met with you guys.
Yes, they confirmed the report on Monday because they went into that community and interfaced with the community. And the community confirmed to them about the kidnap of 177 people. So on their way back, that was when they met Mr. Ruben Buhari, who was going there to ascertain the kidnap, which is on behalf of his organization. But the police and the military and the local government chairman denied them entry, telling them that there is an order from above that no one should visit that community. Now, I think why the community insisted and came out with the news is on the 11th of January 2026, these assailants visited that community and kidnapped 20 people. But this was not on the media, and it was not even on the social media, because they were forced not to talk about it. And these villagers, on 11th of January 2026.
This year?
That was, yes. They visited that community and kidnapped 20 people. Now these villagers gathered money up to 2.6 million naira and paid as ransom, and the 20 people were released. Exactly a week later, they returned on the 18th, that was last Sunday, and then kidnapped 177 people.
Now, who told the villagers not to publish that information? Do you know do you have names?
Well, I think for security purposes, they cannot mention names, but that is the fact of the matter.
No, you're saying they. I thought you were within the community at the time.
No, I went to the community. I was in that community yesterday. I was in that community for 2 hours yesterday. Okay. That was when I verified, because this information of kidnapping 20 people has not been on the public domain. I was reliably confirmed, I was reliably told by the village head of that community, alongside some of them who were able to escape on Sunday, about 11 of them, including the village head. He was part of the 11 that escaped from the hands of the kidnappers. And then some of them escaped with injuries because they were severely beaten. And then out of the 20 that were kidnapped, there was an aged man that was severely beaten. He's still in St. Gerard Hospital receiving treatment as I'm talking to you now.
But we hear that the government is talking about names. They're saying, look, where are the names? The church said they were compiling the names. But now you're saying these people are in the hospital. So why haven't you pushed out the names of those that escaped, so at least the media can speak to them directly and get first-hand information? Why haven't we seen that?
Well, I didn't know about that, but I snapped pictures and I spoke to the community leader. There is a video I recorded them. I snapped pictures. Even those who escaped, I was able to snap pictures of 2 or 3 people with who sustained injuries on their way running back to the community.
Well, we'd like for you to share those videos and pictures with us in the course of time.
And yes, also, now that you have videos and pictures and probably names, have you shared them before you get to us? Have you shared them on social media to authorities and all of that? Because
yes, actually, I did share on social media. I did share on other platforms, and then even came out with the news of kidnapping 20 people and paying 2.6 million naira ransom, which was not on the public domain. It is now presently on the public domain because I shared that information on the public domain.
Okay, the 20 people that were kidnapped, how did you get that information?
I got the information immediately I arrived the community yesterday, because I went to that community to verify.
Oh, well, unfortunately, we seem to be having a network connection problem with
Comrade Tanko. Well, unfortunately, we seem to have lost connection to Comrade Isaac Tanko. I would have loved to ask if the kidnappers have made any demands already, as that's from the over 100 that they kidnapped. We'd like to know if they've made demands and plans that you're making.
I understand with
Comrade, yes. Welcome back. Unfortunately, the network is acting up. Now, for those that have been kidnapped, even though we are having denials from representatives of the government, have the kidnappers made any demands?
So far, the kidnappers have not made any demand. If there are demands made, as of yesterday, when I left that community, there were no demand made already. Okay. But if there are demands, maybe they make demand through the government or the security agencies. But yesterday in the evening, the Kaduna State Police Command released a press statement confirming that the attack, the kidnap, did take place. They later confirmed it and released a press statement.
Interesting. So one starts to wonder why the initial denial. Unfortunately, Comrade Tanko, go ahead.
Let me add this, please. I'm sorry to say this on air, but it's the fact. One thing that has made this insecurity lingered is political correctness. Each time you have leaders or politicians come to talk about this issue, people try to censor their conversation and refuse to come out with what exactly is the problem. Now, since inception of the administration of Governor Ubasani, I am sorry to tell you, the present governor has been engaged in heavy PR, censoring and hiding most of these atrocities happening in Kaduna State. As I'm talking to you now, like in Kauru local government, Kuram Chawe Chiefdom, there are about 138 people that are still in captivity from October last year to January this year, and none of them has been rescued, aside from the number of people who were killed in the course of this kidnap. Yesterday, day before yesterday, there was an attempt to kidnap people from one Gerti community in Jama'ah local government. Unfortunately, the community repelled and were able to rescue 4 people who were badly injured. As I'm talking to you now, in Kachia local government, very close to Kaduna town, it's just about an hour drive, there are informations or confirmed reports from high office holders in that local government that there has never been a record of killings in the history of Kachia local government like it is going on today. So that is what we have been facing. And the fact is, nobody, and I mean nobody, should ever tell you that these things don't have religious correlation. That is what we are being faced here in the Northwest. And successive governments from the northern extraction, the Muslims particularly, have been using power to sustain religion. And not just the kidnapping, because when this kidnapping and atrocities started, they were merely targeting Christian communities, and nobody was talking. Nobody was shouting. It is only when it became very wild and they begin to kill Muslims and killing Christians, and that is where you begin to see the elitist Muslims from the north and their Islamic clerics coming to say that they should find a solution of ending this criminality. But I'm assuring you, if it has stopped only in the Christian domain, honestly speaking, none of them will ever come on air, none of them will ever come to the media and say there are atrocities in the north.
All right, Comrade Isaac Tanko. Unfortunately, we've stretched this beyond the allotted time for this program, but thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for bringing this information to the fore, and I ask that you protect yourself, stay safe, and we'll reach out to you again as we get more, as we'll need more information on what's happening in Kaduna and other parts of Nigeria. Thank you once again.
That's welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you also, Somi Ranta. Thank you for coming on the program, and we must appreciate Comrade Purpose Osawanyi for joining us from our Benin station. Thank you very much, gentlemen. This is how far we can go on VOP this morning. Newspaper review comes up next in about a few minutes. We'll be looking at the papers and making sense of the headlines. I am Moses Humphrey, and I worked with Chukuma Okoro and Jane Ogoye. Well, join us again at 10 for newspaper review. Bye for now.